Hi everyone, Mark here from WhiskyWhistle, sitting here with Stuart Buchanan, the Global Brand Ambassador for BenRiach, and also Glendronach, I believe.
Yep.
And Glenglassaugh. Okay. And here he is. I'm going to ask him just a few questions.
Not supposed.
First of all, tell us, well, you're Stuart Buchanan. Tell us a little bit about your history and what you do with the company.
Oh, whiskey. Basically, I'm production based, so I actually started off in Tobermory Distillery on the west coast of Scotland, Isle of Mull. And at that point, Billy Walker was actually a director with Burn Stuart, who was a company who owned Tobermory. But Billy actually, so I started off there as a stillman. So that was about 1992, 1993. So I've always been production. And then when BenRiach, Billy sold the directorship of Burn Stuart back in 1999, and BenRiach then came on the market in 2004. And when Billy bought BenRiach, he gave myself and also Alan McConaughey, who's the distillery's manager, a call, and we left Tobermory and started up BenRiach. So it's been a fantastic journey, even just getting BenRiach up and running. And then we never knew or never expected to grow as much as we did. You know, then to go on in 2008 and buy Glendronach, which is again just one of the most fantastic sherry style whiskies, highly styled whiskies out there. And then a relatively new acquisition, Glenglassaugh. What a fantastic, unique, small, very, I don't like the word craft, artisan style, well not artisan, I'll just say traditional style whiskies, and very unique in its own style. So the three whiskies we have, you couldn't do that again. You couldn't do that. But production is my base, and in 2000, because we were growing again unexpectedly fast, Billy did move me from that production role into kind of ambassadorial role, because nowadays the people want to know more about whiskey. They want to know production details, every nut and bolt detail of a distillery. And as much as our sales guys are fantastic, they were sometimes getting stumped by a lot of questions. So actually, for me to come out in a production with production history, I think I'm filling that knowledge, building that gap between the whiskey on the shelf and the distillery, maybe see a picture of in a poster. I want to get all that information over what we do, and that's what I love doing.
That's amazing. So how many days a year do you figure you're away from Scotland?
Well, last year it was 75% of the year spent abroad. And that was a wee bit unique because we were launching Glenglassaugh into a lot of new markets, so that was maybe over and above normal. But roughly I'm aiming for about 60-40, because I still do have a lot of work back at home to do with the whiskey. I still look after do all the tasting notes for all the expressions. I work alongside Billy, looking at the overview of the warehouse maturation, single cask selection. We always sit down and discuss whiskies. So I do need to get that time back home to do my whiskey job, my Scottish whiskey job.
And how much of that time would be here in Asia?
Again, that's really split up. I do cover the whole world. So as much as I will come out maybe once a year to a market, my colleagues in the sales will also come out. So we try to get to every market at least twice. Once by the actual sales agent, and he'll do some of his business work and also some tastings. Then I'll also come out and do some ambassadorial work and spread the gospel.
So that brings me to Korea. You've been here a few times.
This is my third time.
And I believe that you're a kimchi fan.
I love kimchi. In fact, when I first was sitting at a table with a full table full of small plates of kimchi, the guy who was with, the reporter who I was with, was extremely worried about me. He thought I was going to explode or something. He goes, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, don't worry. I've eaten a lot worse than this." So I love it. No, I love that. And maybe I always talk about kimchi or any food actually, but it's like balance. I think that kimchi's got a lovely balance, as is most dishes I've had in Korea. It's always been that almost kind of sweet, sour, spice combination.
Exactly.
Now that's what we look in whiskey, not the sourness, but if you put a fruity balance in there, I can appreciate palates and food, or whether it's wines, foods, anything. Balance.
And you mentioned you're adept with chopsticks.
I do love a chopstick. I use chopsticks at home, only because I'm single and I can never bother doing the dishes, so it makes my washing up easier.
Oh, that's great.
It did take a little while getting used to the flat chopsticks from Korea, but I soon mastered that. It's no problem.
Okay, and my most important question is about BenRiach and its history of again and again being deemed one of the best or the best distillery in the world. But also, not only that, you received an award for businesses with 25 or fewer employees, and that you were the very best in Scotland. What do you attribute all of that success to?
I will say some maybe luck, but also Billy Walker's skill. Billy Walker is, he won't like me saying this, but he's 70 plus. And he's been in the industry for 40 plus years. Master blender, chemist to trade actually. When he brings a whiskey together, everything turns to gold. We probably came in at the right time, because back in 2004, we probably were one of the first smaller independent distilleries coming into the market just as the explosion for single malt took off. So that could be attributed to lucky timing, how our growth has progressed over the years, but it's just about producing classic style, classic quality, value for money whiskies that can stand out against the other 300-400 whiskies that are on the shelf.
Okay, and my last question, can you recommend from the 3 brands a whiskey that you would suggest for someone new to Scotch, single malt Scotch, and then also one that you would recommend for someone who's an experienced Scotch single malt whiskey drinker?
Perfect, no problem. Well, again, it is easy. Over the 3 distilleries we have, lots of versatility in there to choose which whiskey you're in the mood for, because that's sometimes all it is. What whiskey are you in the mood for? Late at night, for example, and depending on the weather, colder, darker evening, winter evening, you can go to one of the big rich sherries. The Glendronach 18 would be just a connoisseur's dream, sitting down and drinking that. You take small sips, you make that dram last an hour if you want to do, just by nosing it alone. You're going to get a great depth, and you can feel the tradition in that 18. It's a classic, big, heavy sherry style. What I do love from even this evening's tasting, and even hearing the feedback from the room, if you want to look for maybe somebody new coming to whiskey who looks maybe for a sweeter balance, a fruitier balance, either the Heart of Speyside, which is this one here, which has got that lovely apple, pear, green pear note, always that lovely barley character running through it. My baby would probably be the 16, because the 16 was awarded the Speyside Whisky 2015 by Whisky Live magazine, and I always say we've got many different expressions of BenRiach, whether it's a peat, whether it's finishing ranges, some sherry. The backbone and the thumbprint of what BenRiach is about is probably the 16, and actually not just BenRiach. The 16 is a classic example of what Speyside whisky should be, and that will cover, I guarantee, every single drinker's palate, whether they're new to whiskey or not. It'll cover the newcomer familiar with that fruit character, or the more experienced drinker who wants to sit down and enjoy that more length of a fruity expression.
And I just tried the Heart of Speyside today. It's fantastic. The 16 was outstanding, and I think between all the 3 distilleries, you've got some wonderful liquid to work with.
Yep.
And
again,
people.
The thing is, well, you couldn't do that again. These 3 locations, if you were to start up today and try and buy 3 distilleries with such diversity, not only in cask style but location and production techniques and cask management, you would never be able to do it again. That's where maybe that luck comes in. The Angels take a lot of whiskey for us in casks, but I think they definitely have given some back to Billy as far as in luck to get what we have.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, first of all, thank you so much.
Pleasure, Mark.
And I'll take a quick handshake.
Excellent, no
Real
problem.
pleasure.
Good speaking to
Real
you.
pleasure meeting you, and what a great event we had today.
Cool. It's always good, always fun. And I'll be back to Korea, so don't worry.
Fantastic. All right. That was Stuart Buchanan, the Global Brand Ambassador from BenRiach, Glendronach, and Glenglassaugh. Hopefully I didn't botch the pronunciation. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.